Hey everybody, thanks for logging on to StateChampsNetwork.com. We're bringing back the buzz. We haven't done this in quite some time. A little bit on the State Champs Extra Point Show, which aired on Channel 7. If you happen to check those out. If you didn't, you can watch it right here at StateChampsNetwork.com. Bottom line is we are bringing it back, and we're doing it at an appropriate time because we want to give you Tom's picks, and I'll weigh in too. Not that my opinion matters as much as Tom's, but we're going to talk about the football regional playoffs, which take place. In fact, by the time we're posting this, they're getting ready to rock and roll. So let's get to it, and we'll take it division by division, break down each matchup, and see who we feel will make it to next week's state semifinals. We'll start in Division 1, of course. We've got Walled Lake Central at Clarkston. Clarkston, the heavy favorite in this one. Well,
a couple of years ago, they were a favorite too, and Walled Lake Central upset them. But I'm going with Clarkston. Talked about DJ Zazula on our Mr. Football segment, and I just think he's going to win the game. He's a winner. He's one of the reasons I think he belongs in that race, let alone the online voting. He's just a winner. I mean, he lost one game since he's been starting at Clarkston. So
I think on the other side, too, the quarterback is going to play a big role in if Walled Lake Central can pull it out.
Well, Nick Crum has had a great year. In fact, Bob Meyer told me, he says, I'll take mine any day, which a coach will say.
Of course.
He's got to back his quarterback.
That's right.
And Nick, he's a great player. He doesn't throw the ball like DJ does. They don't ask him to throw the ball. But it should be a highly entertaining game. And it'll be the first time I've seen Clarkston since opening week against Dakota.
Right, and one more note on this game. We obviously expected Clarkston to have a great season. 11-0 is a great season.
Right.
Walled Lake Central, 9-2. That really came out of nowhere.
Yeah, they had a lot of injuries last year. Bob Meyer was telling me that he thought this season was going to be a good one, and obviously it has. They've made some noise in the playoffs, lost a couple during the regular season. And really, their defense has really come on. I'm not sure their defense was this good as well as they're playing right now.
Let's get to the other one, Canton at Saline.
Canton's just rolling. They have the offense perfectly designed for this time of the year. And I've seen Saline. They're very good. I think it's a good matchup. Both teams like to run it, but in different ways. Canton will just kind of power you with their wing and their tight T formation, whereas Saline likes to spread it and run the ball that way. I like Canton. I don't know if Saline can stop what Canton brings on the ground.
I thought it was interesting that you noted in your summary, which you can watch at StateChampsNetwork.com. Just go to In Play with Tom Markowski under News and Blog. But you mentioned that the fact that one team that Canton lost to was a Heartland team that ran the spread, which is what Saline does.
Yeah, and Heartland, they're kind of an up-and-down team. They kind of folded at the end, but they played well during the season. And I remember talking to Tim Beckler, the coach at Canton, right before they played Heartland, and I said, I think it was the second game of the season, and he was studying film, and he says he was just going nuts trying to figure them out. But yeah, you're right. There's a lot of teams that run the ball, but they'll run it with a spread, and sometimes there's people misinterpret the spread offense, that all you do is wing it. That's not true. A lot of teams like to spread the field to open up the lanes to create running lanes for their running backs, and that's what Heartland did.
All right, we're giving you our picks for the regional playoffs in football in the state of Michigan. Chip Valley, a surprise here in the regionals, but going to a very tough Cass Tech.
Yeah,
battle-tested Cass Tech.
Yeah, Saturday afternoon in Detroit, downtown. It just doesn't sound good for the Big Reds. So
field conditions will be perfect.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, hopefully, like I told Scott Merchant at Chippewa, I said maybe it'll be cold enough that it'll be just frozen and not all muddy. But I like Cass in a close game here. I think Chippewa has played really well. Look what they did in the playoffs. They beat two teams that they lost to during the regular season, and they beat them pretty good, except for the Dakota game where they had to block an extra point. But I just think they're playing very well right now, Chippewa. I think they're going to keep it close. But it's the Mike Weber in the offensive and defensive lines for Cass Tech. I think it's just too much of an advantage for the technicians.
Yeah, and I think really the difference is going to be is the play this season of Mr. Football candidate Mike Weber. It seems when the games get bigger, his performance shines even brighter, and he has been carrying the load lately.
I don't think there's been a running back recently that's really carried the load as well as Weber's, because they know they're not going to throw it. Rodney Hall's is a sophomore quarterback. They're not going to rely on him, Cass. And everybody knows he's going to run it, and at every game, he comes through with a big game.
Yeah,
he does. Really amazing.
It almost looks like the same play, too. When you watch the highlights, it's like a give. He'll break it to the outside, and he'll break it 250 yards. But it's the explosion that you just can't measure for. Now, The elements may play a factor in that, but I agree with you. I think Cass Tech will get this. You picked it by 4, and I think that's a pretty good number to go by.
It's.
But if Scott Merchant can pull that off, wow, biggest win in Chip Valley's history.
If it was a Friday night on artificial turf, I might even pick the upset.
Okay, all right. The final one in Division I, out on the west side, Hudsonville at East Kentwood. And East Kentwood is a team that really we haven't talked, I don't think, enough about this season.
No, they run the ball quite well. Obviously, their track teams speak for themselves. All the state titles they've won.
10-1.
Yeah, and you look at the schedule. They play basically the same schedule as Hudsonville because they're both in the OK Red. And this is the third team out of the OK Red that Hudsonville will play in the playoffs.
Right.
It's like they're probably sick of playing those teams now. But Hudsonville, 5-4 during the regular season, lost some tough games, but they beat some good teams, and they came back. They lost to Rockford during the regular season, beat Rockford in the playoffs, and now they're going to try to beat Kentwood, who they lost to during the regular season too. I'm going with the upset in this one. I'm going with the hot team, and obviously at Kentwood 10-1. How can you be hotter than that? But I just think Hudsonville's playing better at this time of the year, and I'm going to go with the Eagles.
I think East Kentwood will get it done at home. Again, I think this is a season, and I think they don't feel that they've proven anything yet. And I think they're really hungry for this one. And again, beating a team twice, though, is always tough to do in one season. So who knows? I'm just giving the advantage of being at home. But who knows? All right.
It's a Saturday game, too.
It is. So Division II is coming up just on the other side.